Hello again! Today I want to show you explosions in Minecraft. And because you probably didn't see much besides the smoke particles and the destruction, let's go through the explosions step by step. Starting at the center. And here Minecraft does what Minecraft does best. It creates a cube, with exactly 16 by 16 dots on each of these 6 faces. Now we squish this cube a bit together so we get a nice little sphere. And it's important to note that no matter what caused the explosion or how big it's going to be, it's always exactly this sphere. Exactly 1352 dots in exactly this shape. So what it's good for? In Minecraft we don't have shock waves. No, we have a laser pointer and a mirror ball. From the center of our explosion we cast rays in all different directions. Each ray goes through exactly one of those dots. That's all those dots are good for, just giving us general directions. And these rays that come out of it are the actual cause of all the effects we see in an explosion. So let's have a look at the adventures of one of those rays. In this example, the red wool block represents the center of the explosion, while the gold block represents one of the many dots around. So our ray will start at here and travel into that direction. After exactly 0.3 blocks, the ray will make a halt and check which block it currently is in. Let's assume for now it stopped inside an air block, because that means we don't need to do anything special. Each ray has its own unique explosion strength, which is independent from all the other rays. Before we continue, we remove a bit of that explosion strength. And the now weaker ray can continue traveling for another 0.3 blocks. At this position it again checks what block it currently is in. Let's assume that again we are inside an air block, so all we do is remove a bit of the explosion strength and continue traveling. And this continues until at some point the explosion strength falls down to a value of 0 or below, at which point the ray will just stop. If at some point we hit an actual block instead of just air, we look up the blast or explosion resistance of that particular block type and based on that value remove a certain amount of explosion strength from our array. If it's now still above 0, the block gets removed and the ray can continue traveling. However, if the block was so strong or the ray already so weak that we hit a value of 0 or below at this position, the ray will just stop and the block can stay. Now that you know the theoretical basis for explosions on Minecraft, let's look at one in close-up. This one started in this little dot here, and from there the rays expanded by 0.3 blocks of course, and looked for blocks to destroy. An explanation of what you see here: the lines here represent the individual rays, and the color tells us how strong they were. The white dots show us where they stopped to look for a block, and that they are white means there was either an air block or they were able to destroy the block. If we expand it a bit, we see the rays got weaker naturally, but down here they got even weaker than on the top. That's because down here we entered the first sandstone blocks, so lost a lot of strength down here. And if we let it expand even more, we can clearly see down here a lot of dark blue and even black, while on top we are still pretty bright in the colors. Also we see now a bunch of black dots, which means at those positions the ray entered a block which couldn't destroy. Ignore that sometimes you see 2 black dots, that's just an error in my program. And if we now expand it a little bit further than that, close to the end, you stop to see a sphere and more individual lines. Also you see that the lines have different length. That is because the explosion started with one specific explosion strength, that's depending on what caused the explosion. In case of TNT that's a strength of 4. But each ray that gets cast gets a random value between 70 and 130% of the initial explosion strength. So some of them are stronger than others and naturally therefore travel further. And this is how the actual explosion looks in Minecraft. And that's it already for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.